Bailiff, there'll be no talking in my courtroom.
Please.
This court has been called into session for one reason only, and that is to rule upon the objection raised by the commissioner concerning the Bethpage Bubba Open.
The bailiff might have to arrest them.
It may be injected.
Excuse me. Order in the court.
This court has been asked to rule ostensibly in its capacity as an appellate forum on the decision of the lower tribunal, that is, the Golf Commissioner of the Plain Edge Golf Association, frequently and therefore referred to herein as the PGA. This court rules on the basis of several email submissions made by the parties, copies of which are attached hereto. The case at hand was initiated by the C, the identity of whom has been disclosed to this court not by any affirmation or discovery response of the parties, but by judicious reading of the undisguised and unvarnished addressee and addressor names on the email submissions as being one Thomas Sarna, AKA the Commissioner,
United States Coast Guard.
who filed an immediate protest with the GC, disclosed in the same manner to be David Klaus, AKA the Golf Commissioner, on the 18th hole of the PGA sanctioned Bubba event, and therefore by direct email, and thereafter by direct email correspondence to the GC the following day. The C's protest states that the 18th hole was not contested in a 2 versus 2 team match, which, and I quote, has always been the way holes are decided in the 4-way Bubba match. Nicely put. He contends that the last hole, that is the 18th, should not count, and therefore, and I quote, the last segment was even. The C requests that he, an innocent party, should not suffer any unit loss, which would otherwise result if the results of the 18th hole were counted. The record indicates the GC ruling on the protest to be as follows, and I quote, would the C be talking about eliminating the 6th hole for a tie if the C had a par and won the 3rd match, etc., which this court can only interpret by judicious reading between the lines as pick up your diapers and take your thumb out of your mouth. You lost the damn match, now get over it.
Was that you or him?
I didn't like that.
That's his judicious.
That's a judicious reading between the lines. The C further requests a positive decision from this court so that a rule may be in place for any future occurrence, such as due to an injury. Moreover, the C contends a rule should be enacted whereby the use of cell phones during a match is prohibited unless needed for emergency. The facts before this court. Unfortunately, and despite this court's request for a complete statement of facts from each of the parties concerned, the record is thin, disjointed, and replete with gaping holes as to all relevant facts upon which the issues before this court must be decided. The court, in fact, suggested that court-directed interrogatories to the parties might be in order. However, a determination was made that this already overworked court should save its energy for the real paying jobs that might help to pay the court's several mortgages in an otherwise rotten Obama-created economy. But I digress. But I digress. The court has instead called upon an eyewitness to the facts at hand. The CL. The CL, excuse me.
Himself.
For a brief and skeletal synopsis of the underlying circumstances affecting the issues. This court understands that it is sticking its judicial neck out to criticism from the bench and bar. However, in the interest of winnowing down any PGA controversy to less than a 40-hour dispute, the court is prepared to bear such a risk.
Bravo.
The skeletal facts before this court are as follows. On the 16th of June, 2011, an official PGA Bubba event, hereinafter referred to as the event, was held at the Bethpage Golf Club's green course. The usual PGA members, the C, GC, BF, and CL as participants. The event among the participants include 3 distinct contests. 1, skins. For the most holes won outright, including and seriatim tacking of previously tied holes by the individual candidates. 2, the Bubba Award, given to the individual winning outright the majority, or the plurality in this case, of the holes. And 3, match play, in which the 4 participants teamed alternately, each with the other in 2-man versus 2-man teams for 6-hole matches each. Each 6-hole match being deemed a separate and distinct match play contest. In all of the contests, skins, Bubba, and match play, the individual handicap of each player was applied to the holes in question. The case before this court concerns only one phase of the match play, that is, the final match on holes 13 through 18, which had as its teams, by virtue of a pre-match tee-tossing selection process, GC and CL versus C and BF. The results of the skin and Bubba contest have not been placed in dispute by the objectant. Under the rules of the PGA, match play awards a point to the team with the individual team member whose net score, after factoring in any handicap for that member, wins the hole outright. If the lowest score for one team ties the lowest score on the other team, no point is given. The team with the greatest number of points for its 6-hole match is the winner, to be paid $5, 5 units, in total from each member of the losing team. The case at hand, at the end of 5 holes, 13 through 17, the points for each team were even. At the 18th tee, the GC, CL, and the C hit their tee shots and played the hole to completion. The BF, known affectionately by those who love him as Big Fred Saponara, the Big Effer, the Italian stallion with the Swedish mother, did not tee off or play the hole, and instead spent the entire duration of the whole play on his cell phone. In the words of the C, and I quote, "My partner became mentally incapacitated, which was brought about by cell phone calls he received. Plus, he is from Philadelphia." End quote. The 2-member team of GC and CL beat the 1-member team of the C on the 18th hole, and as a result, won match play for the last 6-hole contest, 13 through 18. The C protests that he is an innocent victim of his partner's failure to play the last hole, and since it was not fully contested by 2 member teams, the hole should not count, and therefore the last 6-hole match play should result in a draw without a monetary exchange of prize money. The case of the law. The law of the case also. The law of the case.
The man can adjudicate, just can't read.
Yes. The law of the case. It is the contention of the objectant that the case before this court must be decided upon the basis that the PGA Bubba event is always a 4-way contest, and lacking the 4th man on the 18th hole, that hole should not be deemed to have been contested. Therefore, the prior tie score for the previous 5 holes be upheld for that match play contest. The court finds no evidence that the PGA has any specific rule governing its events which states that a hole in match play that is not contested by all of the members of each team is to be considered a nullity in determining the total points won by any team during such match. Having no such rule before it, it is not for this court or any court or tribunal to create or make rules. The creation of rules is left to the legislative body, or in this case, the membership of the PGA, if it wishes to enact a rule, to govern any future occurrence. The role of this or any other court is to interpret existing rules. That said, this court must note that the absence of a specific PGA rule does not mean that no rule governing the sport of golf exists upon which this issue may be properly decided. The court takes note that the rules of golf have governed the sport for hundreds of years and have been set down in rather simple, straightforward, and highly intelligible form by the Professional Golfers Association. See pga.com/the rules of golf. And interpretive decisions of the same are available by the United States Golfers Association, see usga.org/rule-books, who in conjunction with the RA in St. Andrews, Scotland, are dedicated to guard the tradition and the integrity of the game. The court finds the applicable rules of golf as follows. Rule 1, the game. You must always play by the rules. You are not allowed to change the rules. Rule 2, match play. In match play, each hole is a separate contest. You have won the match when, for example, you are 3 up and there are only 2 holes to play. Rule 3, stroke play. In stroke play, the competitor with the lowest total score for the round is the winner. Rule 6, things a player should do. Keep playing unless there is lightning, you are ill, or an official tells you to stop. The court finds the following decisions. The court finds the following definitions of the USGA to be applicable. Forms of match play. 4-ball. A match in which 2 players play their better ball against the better ball of 2 other players. Forms of stroke play. 4-ball. A competition in which 2 competitors play as partners, each playing his own ball. The lower score of the partners is the score for the hole. If one partner fails to complete play of the hole, there is no penalty. The court finds the following USGA rules applicable. Rule 30.3, best ball and 4-ball match play. Small subsection A, representation. A side may be represented by one partner for all or any part of a match. All partners need not be present. An absent partner may join a match between holes, but not during the play of a hole. Rule 31-2, representation of side. A side may be represented by either partner for all or any part of a stipulated round. Both partners need not be present. An absent competitor may join his partner between holes, but not during play of the hole. In making any decision with respect to the issues before this court, the latter takes special note that the PGA, in this case the Plain Edge Golf Association, is an honorable amalgamation of close friends with an association exceeding half-century based on laughter, mutual respect, and competitive spirit. Therefore, the PGA's continuous and flagrant disregard of rule number 1, that is, the modification and bending of the rules of golf, to promote harmony, speed of play, and level of enjoyment of the game should not be an impediment to further enactment by its members to deal with the cell phone issue. In addition, it is clear that the PGA's match play has elements of 4-ball match play and 4-ball stroke play. Notwithstanding such blending and morphing of the USGA definitions of match and stroke play, it is clear, by either definition, all of the partners of one team need not be present on any given hole in contesting the partners of the opposing team. If one partner for a team is present on a given hole, that partner's score for the hole alone will be measured against the best score of the members of the opposing team. No penalty is to be enacted against the team whose partner failed to compete for the hole. However, it is clear that the winning results of the 2-man team versus the 1-man team count the same as if all 4 players competed. Had the single man prevailed in the score over his 2 opponents, that hole would have been awarded to the team with 1 competitive player without penalty. For all of the above reasons, the court upholds the decision of the GC and against the objectant, the distribution of monetary awards at the 2011 Bethpage Bubba event stand.
No peace, no justice. No justice, no peace.
Outstanding.
No justice, no peace.
Will you call the court
Yes.
to order?
Order in the court.
Have a rise as I leave, please.
Outstanding.
Da, da,